Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anita Anand with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs conclave of Chief Ministers of BJP-ruled states at Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, holds discussion on governance-related best practices. Supreme Court allows centre to widen roads for Char Dham project in Uttarakhand. Productivity Link Incentives Scheme launched to attain self-reliance in domestic automobile sector, says government in Lok Sabha. 1.25 lakh kilometres of roads will be constructed in the country under the third phase of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh tells Lok Sabha. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says technology is today a metric to measure national standing like never before. Over 133 crore 90 lakh doses of COVID vaccine administered in the country so far. National Energy Conservation Day being observed today. And in badminton, PV Sindhu, Kidambi Shrikant and Lakshya Sen will play their second round singles matches of World Championships in Spain today. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause for concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and help others get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline number 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And other news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a conclave of Chief Ministers of BJP-ruled states on the second day of his visit to Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh today. The Chief Ministers of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, along with Deputy Chief Ministers from Bihar and Nagaland, are taking part in the meeting. BJP's National President Jagat Prakash Nadda and National General Secretary B.L. Santosh are also attending the conclave. Our correspondent reports that the Chief Ministers shared governance-related best practices followed by them in their respective states. The conclave is in line with the Prime Minister's vision of furthering Team India spirit. Earlier in the day, the Prime Minister also held an interaction with BJP workers in Varanasi. In the afternoon, the Prime Minister will attend the 98th anniversary celebrations of Sadguru Sadapaldev Vihangam Yog Sansthan. The Prime Minister continued with his engagements after the inauguration of Baba Vishwanath Dham on the first day of the visit to Varanasi yesterday. In the evening, the Prime Minister attended Ganga Aarti and late in the night inspected development works going on in his constituency. The Prime Minister, along with the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, visited Banaras railway station and reviewed the ongoing development works there. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said it is our endeavour to create the best possible infrastructure for this sacred city. He added the government is working to enhance rail connectivity as well as ensure clean, modern and passenger-friendly railway stations. The Prime Minister also visited the Kashi Vishwanath Dham in the night and interacted with the people of Varanasi.
The Supreme Court today allowed the centre to widen the roads that are part of the 899-kilometre Char Dham project in Uttarakhand. A bench comprising Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Justice Suryakant and Justice Vikram Nath pronounced orders in the application filed by the Ministry of Defence seeking modification of the order dated 8th of September 2020, which was passed by a 3-judge bench headed by Justice Rohinton Nariman, in order to permit the Union of India to make roads with 10 meters tarred surface as opposed to the 5.5 meters as ordered by the court. The court today modified the order and allowed the Defence Ministry to widen the road as sought. At the same time, the court took note of the environmental concerns raised by the High-Powered Committee HPC and directed the Ministry of Defence and the Ministry of Road, Transport and Highways to implement the recommendations made by the committee. The court also appointed former Supreme Court Judge Justice A.K. Sikri as the head of the Oversight Committee to oversee the implementation of the HPC recommendations. The court noted that the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways circulars do not forbid the double laning of the roads in hilly and mountainous terrains if the roads are of strategic importance and for border security. The court also noted that there cannot be judicial review over defence requirements. The court rejected the arguments raised by the applicant NGO Citizens for Doon that the Defence Ministry's application was based out of malafide and was an attempt to relitigate issues already decided by the earlier bench.
The Rajya Sabha has been adjourned till 2 p.m. following uproarious scenes by the opposition members over the issue of suspension of 12 members from the winter session of Parliament. When the Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu tried to run the question hour after completing 0 hour, opposition members raised the issue and demanded revocation of their suspension. Mr. Naidu urged the agitating members to allow the House to function, but the opposition members, including from the Congress, AAP, NCP and DMK, trooped into the well and started sloganeering. The chair also took objection to the behavior of the AAP leader Sanjay Singh and asked the marshal to take him out. In the meantime, the chairman had to adjourn the House till 2 p.m. due to noisy scenes. Earlier, when the House assembled for the day, papers were laid by the concerned ministers and members. After that, Mr. Naidu started 0 hour, but the opposition members raised the issue of suspension of its members. The chairman appealed to the members to allow the House to take up 0 hour, as it is very important. The Centre today said productivity-linked incentives PLI scheme has been launched to attain the self-reliance in domestic automobile sector. Replying to a question in the Lok Sabha, Minister of State for Heavy Industries Krishan Pal said the PLI scheme has been launched on the line of dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and it will bring innovative technology and investment in the country. He said PLI will trigger investment in domestic automobile sector and reduce import of spare parts, innovative technology, making cheaper vehicles available in the country. The minister informed the House that with $1,500 billion global market of automobiles, the stake of India is less than 2%. He said the scheme will bolster the sector, and it is expected the share of Indian automobile segment will reach 4 to 8% of the global market in coming days.
Minister of Rural Development Giriraj Singh today said under the third phase of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, PMGSY, 1.25 lakh kilometers of road will be constructed in the country. Replying to a question in Lok Sabha, Mr. Singh said the third phase of PMGSY was launched in 2019 to connect major rural links connecting habitations to rural agriculture markets, schools and hospitals. He said a total of 71,902 kilometer road length has been sanctioned till 8th of December this year, and out of which more than 19,000 kilometer road length has been completed. The minister said all the state governments have been advised to use at least 15% of green technology in construction of such roads. Minister of State for Home Affairs, Nisid Pramanik, today informed the Lok Sabha that in the wake of developments in Afghanistan, the Border Security Force BSF has reviewed the security scenario along western border of the country. In a written reply to the House, Mr. Pramanik said, due to changed dynamics in the neighborhood, the BSF has taken several proactive measures and troops have been sensitized to meet any eventuality.
Minister of State for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Kailash Chaudhary today said the Indian Council of Agricultural Research ICAR has developed a variety of millet which has increased shelf life. Replying to a question in the Lok Sabha, Mr. Chaudhary informed that presently the flour of millet has 10 to 15 days of shelf life, but after the introduction of the new variety it will increase to 6 months. He said the government has taken several steps to promote the farming of coarse cereals. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi today rejected the opposition's allegation regarding conduct of 0 hour in the Rajya Sabha in Din. Talking to reporters outside Parliament, Mr. Joshi said at least 50 members, including from the opposition, had given their notices regarding matters of urgent public importance. He said out of them, the Rajya Sabha chairman admitted 26 notices and majority of members wanted the House to run 0 hour. He termed questioning the intention of the chair by the opposition as unfortunate. Mr. Joshi also said that 12 suspended MPs should express regret for their unruly behavior and participate in the discussion in the House as the government is ready to discuss any issue. Mr. Joshi said the government is open to constructive suggestion from opposition members.
फिर से मार्चिंग ऑर्डर उनको मिलने वाला है, इसलिए आज से ही शुरू किया है। हमने इतने तक हमने बोला था कम से कम जिस पार्टी के नेता एमपीएस को सस्पेंड किया है, सदन में उनका नेता है, वो रिग्रेट व्यक्त करें। हमने सिर्फ ये बोला है कृपया आप माफी मांग के अंदर आइए, हम चर्चा चाहते हैं। इसीलिए हम 3-4 बार कम से कम जब चर्चा चल रहा था हमने वो चर्चा को राज्यसभा एडजर्न करके उनको निवेदन किया आप कृपया अंदर आइए, चर्चा में भाग लीजिए, लेकिन मनसा ही नहीं है।
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur today took strong exception to Samajwadi Party chief and former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Akhilesh Yadav's remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Varanasi. Talking to media outside Parliament, Mr. Thakur termed the remarks as unfortunate, saying that Mr. Yadav should have refrained from making such disrespectful remarks.
दिव्य और भव्य काशी जो न कभी सपा बसपा सोच सकती थी, वो संकल्प से सिद्धि करने का काम माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के समय में हुआ है। और भव्य काशी का ये रूप देखकर, बाबा विश्वनाथ कॉरिडोर को देखकर शायद ये लोग इतने सकता गए कि कहीं न कहीं इनकी सोच और इनके संस्कार वो सब सामने आ रहे हैं। अखिलेश यादव जी इस तरह का बयान देते हैं जो उनकी सोच और उनके संस्कारों को दिखाता है।
You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs the conclave of Chief Ministers of BJP-ruled states at Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, holds discussion on governance-related best practices. Supreme Court allows Centre to widen roads for Char Dham project in Uttarakhand. Productivity Link Incentive Scheme launched to attain self-reliance in domestic automobile sector, says Government in Lok Sabha. 1.25 lakh kilometers of roads will be constructed in the country under the third phase of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh tells Lok Sabha. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says technology is today a metric to measure national standing like never before. Over 133 crore 90 lakh doses of COVID vaccine administered in the country so far. National Energy Conservation Day being observed today. In badminton, PV Sindhu, Kidambi Srikanth and Lakshya Sen will play their second round singles matches of World Championships in Spain today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
Welcome back to the Midday News. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has stressed that technology is today a metric to measure national standing like never before. He said technology has always been a double-edged sword. Addressing the opening of the Global Technology Summit 2021 through video conference today, Dr. Jaishankar said technology has opened up new vistas of progress just as it has helped create greater vulnerabilities and threats.
In a world that is more globalized and technology-driven, mastery of key domains has now become an expression of power and influence. Indeed, technology is today a metric to measure a nation's standing like never before. Within societies, its implications are no less significant and indeed no less transformational. It is a key governance tool that can define the quality of delivery. It is equally an extraordinarily effective communication medium that can change the very nature of politics. Our international branding has gone up. We are today seen as a country which has serious events where different set of people come and talk, and I think that's helped us enormously in terms of our international reputation.
Delivering the inaugural address at the summit, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said India and the UK will help shape a new technology age based on principles of freedom and openness and peace. He said the two countries are working together on 5G, telecom and green technology.
I was so pleased earlier this year when my friend Prime Minister Narendra Modi and I agreed that our two countries should work closer than ever before on the technology and the rules that will help to shape the coming age. And of course it's India, land of the mathematical genius Srinivasa Ramanujan, that is powering ahead with new technology and where there's so much brilliant talent. With our shared culture of innovation and our entrepreneurial spirit, Britain and India are natural partners.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today said armed forces integration process will continue at all levels to meet any circumstances. Speaking at a DRDO function, the Defence Minister said the Narendra Modi government has taken bold policy decisions for reforms in defence production. He said for the past few years, Defence Research and Development Organisation DRDO is developing technology that is not just futuristic, but also first of its kind. Mr. Singh said since its inception, DRDO has played a major role in capability building of security forces. The Minister said the government is all set to create such a strong defence industry base in the country.
जब हम भारत को एक मजबूत डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बेस और नेट डिफेंस एक्सपोर्टर बनाने की बात करते हैं तो उसका रास्ता डीआरडीओ, हमारी आर्म फोर्सेस, हमारी प्राइवेट इंडस्ट्री, जो स्टार्टअप और एकेडमिया के कोलैबोरेशन से होकर भी जाता है। अभी हमारे सर्विसेज को इक्विपमेंट ट्रांसफर किए गए हैं, प्राइवेट इंडस्ट्री जो हमारे मित्रों को ट्रांसफर ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी भी हुई है। यह इस बात का प्रमाण है कि हम देश में एक ऐसा मजबूत डिफेंस इंडस्ट्रियल बेस बनाने के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं, जो न केवल हमारी डोमेस्टिक डिफेंस रिक्वायरमेंट पूरी करेगा, बल्कि आने वाले समय में फ्रेंडली कंट्रीज को डिफेंस आइटम्स एक्सपोर्ट कर उनकी भी जरूरतों को पूरा करेगा।
National Energy Conservation Day is being observed today. The day focuses on making people aware of global warming and climate change and promotes efforts towards saving energy resources. On the occasion, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu urged everyone to take a pledge to make India an energy-efficient nation. And he also stressed on the need to use the environmental resources in a sustainable manner. Energy conservation is an effort made to reduce the consumption of fuel and use the least energy resources to save for the future. The Government of India has set up Bureau of Energy Efficiency BEE on 1st of March 2002 under the provision of Energy Conservation Act 2001. World Energy Conservation Day is also observed today. It focuses on making people aware of global warming and climate change and promoting efforts towards saving energy resources.
Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has said that over 55% of the eligible population of the country are now fully vaccinated. In a tweet, Mr. Mandavia said India has achieved another milestone in its fight against COVID-19 vaccination. He said Har Ghar Dastak campaign has further strengthened the nation's collective fight against COVID-19. Over 133 crore 90 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. India's active caseload currently stands at 88,993, which is the lowest in 563 days. Active cases account for less than 1% of total cases. The recovery rate currently stands at 98.37%. In the last 24 hours, 5,784 new cases were reported and a total of 7,995 recoveries were recorded. The government today said more than 140 crore 38 lakh vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far. Health Ministry said more than 17 crore 6 lakh unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with states, union territories and private hospitals to be administered.
In Rajasthan, 4 more people have been found infected with the Omicron variant of COVID. 3 of these cases are from Sikar. Apart from this, one person from Kota who came from Ukraine has also been found infected with Omicron. Additional Director, Rural Health, Dr. Ravi Prakash Sharma told that 17 cases of Omicron have been reported in the state so far. 3 active patients are admitted at Ajitgarh in Sikar. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia today chaired India Global Forum Healthcare Roundtable in Dubai. In a tweet, Mr. Mandavia said he discussed various issues related to healthcare. He said India has a major role to play in mitigating global health risks. The minister said India is committed to ensuring affordable healthcare to all through collaboration and adopting tech-based solutions.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
मेरे मन में जैसे आकांक्षाएं होती हैं, बच्चों के मन में होती है, मैं ये कर लूं, मैं वो कर लूं, मैं हवाई जहाज चलाऊं, मैं ये करूं, कोई डाकिया। मेरे मन में था कि मैं टीचर बनूं, मैं मुकर्रर बनूं, भाषण करता है, हजारों आदमी तालियां बजा रहे हैं, एडिटर, एक्टर, फिल्म का हीरो वगैरह वगैरह। मैंने सारे प्रोफेशन करके दे और ये भी मान लो कि असफल होके नहीं लौटा।
Today we remember the prominent Hindi novelist Upendranath Ashk, who was born on the 14th of December 1910. Upendranath was one of Hindi literature's best-known authors. During the 1930s, he used to work for Lala Lajpat Rai's newspaper Bande Matram as a reporter and later as editor for the daily Veer Bharat and the weekly Bhuchal.
Ashk was born in Jalandhar, Punjab. He spent the early part of his writing career as an Urdu author in Lahore, but later, encouraged by Premchand, he switched to Hindi. Ashk is perhaps best known for his 6-volume novel series, Girti Diware, an intensely detailed chronicle of the travails of a young Punjabi man in 1930s of the British India. The protagonist in the series is a witness as well as a participant in the social change during the time and appreciates the reduction of the burden of tradition.
Ashk also worked for All India Radio from 1941 to 1945 as a playwright and Hindi advisor, where his colleagues included Kishan Chandar and Saadat Hasan Manto.
आज प्रस्तुत है श्री उपेंद्रनाथ अश्क का लिखा ये नाटक।
In 1944, he moved to Bombay to write dialogues and screenplays for the production company Filmistan. He also became involved with Indian People's Theatre Association and wrote one of his most noted plays, Tufan Se Pehle, which was produced for the stage by Balraj Sahni. The play was later banned by the British government.
After independence, Upendranath Ashk moved to Allahabad and founded a publication house. In 1965, he was awarded the Sangeet Natak Academy Award as the leading playwright of Hindi. He died in 1996. We salute this great Indian.
On the 14th of December 1921, Banaras Hindu University conferred the degree of Doctor of Letters upon Annie Besant in recognition of her services to Indian education. A co-founder of BHU, Annie Besant was involved with improving the Indian education system from her initial days in India. In 1898, she founded the Central Hindu School and College in Varanasi, and a few years later, in 1904, she started the Central Hindu School for Girls. Theosophists from overseas came to help her in the work of the colleges, which were established with the object of impressing India's past glory on the minds and hearts of the students. Later, the institution became the nucleus of Banaras Hindu University.
We also remember martyr Devi Singh Guntia of Jabalpur district of Madhya Pradesh, who took active part in the First War of India's independence in 1857. He participated in the attack on the Shahpur police station on November 30, 1857 and attacked British positions in Jabalpur, Sioni and Narsinghpur districts. He also led a force of 1,500 people in a battle against the British force on December 7, 1857. He escaped after the defeat of his force, but was captured by the British soon after and executed by hanging on December 14, 1857. We pay our respect to the great martyr.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In our special series Aparajita in the Parikrama program today, we will bring you the history of Bengal's revolutionary woman Beena Das, who is also known as Agni Kanya, at 4:45 p.m. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline toll-free number 14404, issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago. News just in. Rajya Sabha is now taking up the Delhi Special Police Establishment Amendment Bill 2021. Amidst protest by opposition, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Minister of State Independent Charge, Personnel, Public Grievances and Pension, moved the bill further to amend the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946 as passed by the Lok Sabha.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted people on Gita Jayanti. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said it is gladdening to see the teachings of the Gita reverberate globally. He said Bhagavad Gita is a practice guide for several dimensions of life. In badminton, Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu, Kidambi Srikanth and Lakshya Sen will play their second round singles matches today at the BWF World Championships at Huelva in Spain. While Kidambi Srikanth will meet Li Shifeng of China, Lakshya Sen will take on Japan's Kenta Nishimoto in second round of men's singles today. In women's singles, PV Sindhu will face Martina Repiska in the second round. Earlier, HS Pranay and men's doubles pair of MR Arjun and Dhruv Kapila advanced to the second round after registering brilliant victories. World number 32 Pranay stunned world number 9 Angus Angika Long of Hong Kong in the first round of men's singles. Pranay will take on Darren Liu of Malaysia tomorrow. The duo of Arjun and Kapila defeated the Danish pair of Daniel Langard and Matthias Tedry in the first round. They will now take on Vladimir Ivanov and Ivan Sozunov of Russia.
Now let us take a quick look at the weather update for the day. National capital Delhi is expected to have mist. Mumbai is likely to have a partly cloudy sky. Chennai is likely to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Jammu will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Leh and Gilgit likely to have generally cloudy sky. Muzaffarabad will have rain or snow. In the northeast, Guwahati, Imphal, Aizawl, Kohima and Itanagar will have mainly clear sky. Shillong will experience shallow fog. Gangtok will have partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. Visakhapatnam will have partly cloudy sky with haze. Bengaluru and Puducherry will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs conclave of Chief Ministers of BJP-ruled states at Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, holds discussion on governance-related best practices. Supreme Court allows centre to widen roads for Char Dham project in Uttarakhand. Productivity-linked incentives scheme launched to attain self-reliance in domestic automobile sector, says government in Lok Sabha. 1.25 lakh kilometers of roads will be constructed in the country under third phase of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh tells Lok Sabha. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says technology is today a metric to measure national standing like never before. Over 133 crore 90 lakh doses of COVID vaccine administered in the country so far. National Energy Conservation Day being observed today. And in badminton, PV Sindhu, Kidambi Srikanth and Lakshya Sen will play their second round singles matches of World Championships in Spain today. And with that, we end the midday news.